There we go. Okay, good. So as I continued a little bit with the backstory on this, is that it kind of it grew out of a couple other projects. And we happened to acquire this piece of property, which is an excellent in terms of location. And alhamdulillah, it's sort of it has much of what we would like to do already done. And we picked it up. Alhamdulillah, we were able to get it. And so what we're trying to do now is to create a number of projects off of this farm. It's 25 acres. What we're trying to do is create a number of projects, first concentrating on the local Muslim community. When I say local, I actually have people up in Maryland who want to get lambs this Eid, and they're willing to come down and get them, or we can deliver them up there if they're already slaughtered. But there's a big gap here. Literally thousands and thousands of Muslims don't have an option except to buy their meats from the disbelievers, or go there and slaughter them at their farms. That can present a problem for them sometimes. But at the same time, they all have expressed and already calling me to put in orders. They want to order. I don't have livestock right now. We're trying to get that the next 2 weeks. So anyway, I could go on and on. I'm gonna just go through this presentation real quick, and then once we go through the presentation, we will excuse me, I'm just closing some stuff down here. Once we go through this presentation, we will open up for Q&A. And let me see here. Share screen here, and we want to share screen 1. There we go. All right. So if I'm not mistaken, everyone should be able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So Zabihaha Farms is a project that, as I said, is meant to address a significant void in Muslims here, or underserved Muslim communities here in northern, central, eastern North Carolina. And so we started this, and in the project here, what we're looking for is to gain support and investment. A number of different ways. We're open to ideas. How can this farm be used to make us money? Meaning us, meaning the farm and you. You have a project, you'd like to execute it, present it. And if it is something that fits into our present model, or that we can adjust and modify and include that, because not all things are exclusive, in terms of they have to only that be done. We can go a number of different directions with this, within the parameters of the use of the farm. That's interesting too, because this land is zoned agricultural unrestricted, which gives us a very wide berth for the things that we can do here on this farm. I want to move on. This farm, when we purchased it, it already had a lot of the things that it probably would have taken us years and a lot of money in order to put in place. They were already here. And that's why I say for this project, 80% of the infrastructure is already in place. The surrounding Muslim community is underserved. It does not have a convenient. They're driving for 45 minutes, an hour and a half to get to where they can go to, and some even greater distances to get to where they can slaughter for the Eid. And even if they have that farm closer to them, say 30 minutes, like we might be 45 minutes, but now they get the opportunity to come and shop with the Muslims at a one-stop operation where we have the animals here, and we have an area that's set up for the processing and of that preparation and processing of that animal, whatever it is, goat, sheep, cow, lamb, what have you. And we'll get to that in just a second. Um, and this is the kind of a launch business. Out of all the projects that we want to do on this property, this one is the most ready to harvest, right? Let's say, right? It's the most ready because, as I mentioned above, 80% of the infrastructure for this is already in place. The zoning and codes allow us to do what we're doing, because it was done here previously. And again, we'll talk about that when I'm showing you the buildings. Um, and so it requires very little investment, relatively little investment for the return that is potentially to be gained and secured by livestock. This is a store that's on the property. The previous owner was, and this what we want to do is turn this into the grocery store. This is the Muslim grad, just like any other halal market that you go, Muslim marketplace that you go into. This is the space for that we want to use for that. And this building is already has split units, so it's heated and air conditioning, has security cameras, as well as it was used as a gun store previously. And so the guy had a lot of security around there. So that's now, secondly, the preparation and processing area. This is a building that was specifically used for processing the meats that the animals that were being slaughtered on the property. And also they did hunting there. So they not only had the regular, goats and sheep and lambs and what have you, they also had deer, because they hunted deer on the backside of the property. It's a pretty excellent hunting ground, because every time I walk the property, I see fresh deer tracks. Let's see here. Let's see. I can't enlarge these pictures, but you can definitely look. I'm hoping you can see them well enough to hear my description. Give me just a second to go back here. So this room here is, I think, I gotta get the square footage. I believe it was about 700, almost 800 square feet. It also has, it's insulated and heated and air conditioned. What we intend, this is where some of the investment will go, because of course they removed all of the appliances and equipment, and in replacing that, and the good thing is it's not a huge amount of money, and it's not a huge amount of equipment. Cutting surfaces, double sink, band, the what is it, the meat bandsaw, and refrigeration units. All totaling less than 7,000. I think it was about 66,000, 6,500, something like that, to get this to be fully equipped. And that also included putting up on the walls some vinyl sanitizable surfaces, a vinyl, a type of vinyl that goes up, and you'll find it in a lot of food handling areas. So that'll be going up, inshallah. And this is the pen. The pen for where we keep the animals, or where we will be keeping the animals, previously used for that purpose, is electrified fence. It is fenced in, and it has 100 by 120 square feet. I mentioned here 7,000 square foot. I thought it was around 7,000, but when I actually did the takeoff, it was more like 10,000 square feet of pen space that we have available for the animals. There's a lot more to the property, but these are the things that are immediately directly related to the project itself. A place to keep and feed the animals, and also we can graze them on the backside of the property. We will be grazing them, and we will be feeding them grain, alfalfa, and different types of hay that they give to the animals. So the other thing is, I think, let's see, place to keep the animals, a place to prepare and process the animals. I did not get to show you the back of that building. I do have some other videos and things like that. I don't know if I shared those with Khalida or not, but they are available. Videos that I took myself personally as I walked the property, as well as a place to sell the animals, an office and store, which is there. So it's a great project. Um, so now just a general statement about Zabihah Farms. Again, Zabihah Farms is here to serve the Muslim community. And what we want to do is to become not just a place where they can do business, purchase their product. We even going to have some eggs here. We're trying to get some hens for free range eggs, but that's also we're trying to get that off because it's pretty quick to get started. And now eggs are the rage, as the prices have gone up in some cases over 400%. But anyway, that's what we're here for. Here to benefit the farm as well as the community, even in the financial sense. So we want to offer always have programs that are available for Muslims to do their investment in livestock or in other projects that we have, such as the indoor farming project. So I'm going to open up the floor now for Q&A. If anyone had any questions or any ideas, I'm all ears, as they say. You can only unmute yourself when you are. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sharif, alhamdulillah. Welcome, welcome, alhamdulillah. Come on, give us some of that wisdom from down there. This brother, I don't know how many of you know our brother Sharif here, the Muslim homesteader. Introduce yourself briefly and then share something with us and some advice to your brother here.
Well, actually, I'm sorry. Like I came in a little late. I was just finishing up my breakfast. So I missed the beginning part. But excuse me, for those who don't know me, my name is Sharif, also known as the Muslim Homesteader. I have a YouTube channel, but recently, for the past, I guess, 2 months, I haven't posted anything because I've been focusing on myself and family because it takes a lot to get out and put, videos out there every week. But basically, we're located in the northeast corner of New Mexico. We're a purposely established community. We have over 50 members in our community, oldest being 73, the youngest being a few months. And basically we bought our land and we came together. So we are a community, but the land isn't owned by the community. It's owned by individuals. So people bought their plots of land and we just work together on different projects. So for example, today, between Dhur and Asr time, we're doing masjid renovations. So we'll be working on that. Sundays, the sisters have a class. We got the actual community, not our community, but the county community building. And they have a cooking class and Islamic studies class, which is turning into a farmer's market.
Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. Let me see. Let me kill this call here coming in. Excuse me, brothers. Okay. Yes, subhanallah, alhamdulillah. Thanks for sharing that, Ak. I appreciate that because we definitely, one of the models we started out with for the OG, I mentioned it, was the Sharia land and farm. We wanted to buy like 50, maybe 100 acres and establish a township, a community that way. But now a Sharif's project is more, I think, suitable for us. I call it the Medina model. I started off calling it the Amish model because everybody knows the Amish. The very few, even Muslims, understand how the Medina model worked. That's something I guess we have to really introduce the believers to because that is the model we really want to follow. And so that entails everyone, even though we're cooperatively working together, building our own economy and doing things and productively to build a community together, we all have our own interests, our own land. And I might be doing what I do. I might have the animals, the sheep, the goats, might have some milking some goats and making some goat's milk cheese or whatever. I don't know. Stuff that you guys do down there. You're making your own bacon, man. You're doing all kinds of stuff. So for the community, that's what we're talking about now. someone, if you're in our group, and I'm sure you saw it, Sharif, our brother Altef, put in a property down here. It's in Halifax County. It's not far from me. I think 20, 30 minutes. What was it? It wasn't that far from where we are here. Might not even been that, but anyway, $92,000. It was 2.25 acres, with a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. You know, a kind of a starter. Hey, you can do a lot with that, right? Should they,
Yes, definitely.
you don't need 25 acres. You can buy a small 1 acre, acre, and do some work and have something there suitable for that size property. You can contribute to not only your family's economy, but to the community, us as a group, as we work together and collaborate, even with our brothers in New Mexico, we can build that. And I know that's what you have always been about. And I'm sorry to extend this meeting off into the larger dream, but that's what we're trying to do. And Sharif has been working on this. I think you've been down there you're pushing up on a decade down there. How long?
Yeah, I've been here permanently for 7 years. I left Saudi in 2015, and I've been here full time ever since. But prior to that, I was working in Saudi, and I would just go back and forth during the summer,
Right.
to do little projects like getting up the fencing, building small outbuildings, and things like that.
Right. So anyway, if
Assalamu
anyone
alaikum.
has any questions, go right ahead, Khalida.
I really, pardon me, this introduction is really going to be real quick because I know I'm going to have to go to the door in about 3 minutes, Aki. So, and then receive brother Sharif. I think he said he just got finished eating, and I'm about to get food for the family. So I want to say this really quick. This is a blessing, and thank you for inviting me to this right here, because I myself and my family, my team, we're actually in the midst of signing the paperwork right now for 77 acres of land in Virginia. And, like-minded spirits and bodies and souls on one accord to build a self-sustaining community. And, one of my questions is, and I've been speaking with Brother Yasin, to duplicate this the project he's got in the 77 acres that we inshallah will be obtaining. And then Brother Sharif, just you being over there and saying what you just said is a big inspiration, because that's exactly what we're intending to do. And so, brother, I would love if you can share your information with me so me and you can go back and forth as we try ourselves, inshallah, to build this self-sustaining community as well.
I'm inshallah, no problem, bro. Just anytime, I'm always available. I'll give you my number, email, whatever you need.
Alhamdulillah, because this is very inspiring. I have a couple of our members on here right now, and as young as 23 years old, that's ready to really do what it takes to be done. And keep in mind, I'm from the bricks of New York City, and so I don't know nothing about farming.
Trust, brother, you don't need to know. I learned, it's going to sound really crazy, everything from books and YouTube videos. And alhamdulillah, Allah has put me in a position to tell the people here who come from established ranching families how to do stuff. They actually come to me for advice. And I'm talking about they've been doing for generations. So YouTube in the library is a great resource.
Thank you, beloved. Thank you. I'm going to slip away for the next 2 minutes, and inshallah, I'll be back. But Brother Yasin, I got Brother Leonard on here. I don't know if he's available to say anything. I got Brother Ijaz, the 23-year-old, and then I have my sister too as well, Sister Katura. We're all involved in the same project. So I got to slip away real quick, and then I'll be right back. And thank you so very much.
All right. Thank you for joining. Alhamdulillah. Brother, I don't know, like you said, Brother Leonard or whoever else, if you have any questions or, like I said, comments, please don't hesitate.
Hey, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay, this is Brother Hamza down here in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Can you hear me?
Nah, man, hear you loud and clear.
Okay. All right. Greetings to everyone. Well, this is my first conference, call, joining with the Zoom. And alhamdulillah, I had an opportunity to come down to the farm and visit. It was a great place, great experience. And I definitely like the direction that everything is taking. And it, from what I see, the momentum is great. You have somebody that's in place with the farm, which is yourself, Brother Yasin, being the Emir, spearheading things, which is great. So keep it in line with the Sunnah and how things are done. We have Ijma, which is being set up, where so you have consensus. You have maybe, inshallah, further down the line, we may have appointments of certain things. And the reason why I'm saying this is because with everybody that's involved, I don't know if we all know each other's skill set. So one of the things, according to the Sunnah, when people would be appointed positions or they would take on certain roles within the community, it would take place either by appointment or ijma. And the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he knew the strengths of the people in that community. And one thing that I find to be very important that's missed sometimes when we come together as a unit, we never find out the strengths of the people that are in the community. So sometimes people may come in and they may have a desire to do something, but yet it may not be working according to their strength. So as I come into the meeting, I just want to present what it is that I'm able to do in terms of helping out. So me personally, I have a moving business, so I have trucks. So with those trucks, I'm able to get involved in the aspect of transport and physical labor in terms of manpower, which will be needed if we intend on transporting any the animals from one location to another. And I just want to ask the other people that are in the conference, since this is a drive toward the farm that we have here in Enfield, even though they may be at a distance, what strengths are they bringing to the table and how could they assist in this so that way we can be clear in terms of who has what resource and we can know. For example, you know, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he knew the strengths of Abu Bakr, he knew the strengths of Umar ibn al-Khattab. But right now, I think it's good to know what are some of the things that we're bringing to the table in order to help the advance our cause.
Now, that's true. You know, that's always the case, whether it's any organization like the masjid, you set out there are 300 or 400 brothers out there, and you don't know this, you know, we don't have a directory of their talents and skills so that we can help keep our economy strengthened. I need a plumber. I know I got the brothers so-and-so, but if I don't
Right.
know, I got to call Roto-Rooter or somebody, right? And give them my dollars, right? So there's always, and you're right, that's so important to know the strengths of the people within the community so that we can work with together, you know, and really build. And I think you and I, we talked about your what you have, your strengths and how we could use it. Like you said, transporting animals. And there was someone who talked about a farm that we could get animals from. And I said, I'm going to run that by you. But anyway, the other thing is, one of the things that I think is critical for the farm at this point, and that's one of the things I want to concentrate on, is this project, right? And funding this project. The deal is, I don't have a single animal, no livestock on the property. I don't even have chickens right now. We're trying to resolve that issue. We'd like to get at least 10 lambs on the property, 10 lambs to have one to begin to be able to fulfill some of these orders that we have coming in, right? So someone calls me and say, I need two. I need to be able to say, come on through. Can I come? That's what the brother asked me. Can I come through tomorrow? That was last Friday. I didn't I can't tell him yes, but if I got, you know, 5 or 10 back there, I can say, sure, come on through. And, you know, we come through and do business. Now we start that process. And that's what, because Ramadan is coming up, the brothers told me we go through a lot of lambs and even cows. We'll do a cow during Ramadan, right? And things like that. They just slaughtered. They say we slaughtered 10 cows a year. That's the brother, just that small group, the group I saw out there, they came from Raleigh to go to this guy Jim's farm, right? They said we slaughtered 10 cows a year here. We want to do this business with you. I don't have a cow. Right now I don't have a chicken. Key is we need to get livestock on the property so we can actually say, come on through. We got you. We have a place here to take care of business, just like Jim. We got it better than Jim does. Jim didn't have the thing. I got, I got some mechanical things. I don't know what that thing is called. Maybe you know, Sharif, where you put the you string the animal up. You
Gramble.
a gramble. See there, he knows the name of it. Now I know I got to write that down, right? A gramble. Okay, so I got one of those. I can put two of them. So and these guys, who's here. I mean, I don't know. I just got here, but I know that all of the communities I visited in the different cities have been heavily populated by Yemenis. So there's clearly a large Yemeni population in all these different cities, Greenville, Rocky Mount, and so forth, right? And those guys have been coming at me strong saying, we want to do business. It was in Roanoke Rapids. The guy, that's where the next day I got a call saying I need to get a lamb, right? He said, because he thought I had him on the property already on the farm. So that's what I'm trying to get past that. That is going to put us on the map, inshallah, in terms of the community. As during Ramadan, they're able to buy from us. And then when the Eid comes, we've got 50, 75, back here that they can come. And I'd like to have 100 because from what I understand, it wouldn't be, in fact, Jim said, you got to have at least 50 because he does a lot. He said, everybody comes to me. The Arabs, the Africans, they like a lot of goats. He said, the Africans like goats. He said, the Africans come to me. The Arabs come to me, the Chinese, the Latinos. He was talking about how good his business is. He said, I got a lot of business here. And he was really, he's been there since 2010. He said, I didn't have an animal here. Now he's got almost 200 head of, livestock, goats, sheep, rams, all kinds of stuff out there. Cows, got a number of cows and that sort of thing. Chickens, not counting the chickens because with the close to 200, but that's four-legged livestock out there. So anyway, that's what we're trying to do because that's where we're closest to being able to start introducing the community to the farm and what we have. Two, put us on the map for future when people have, and they say, we always, Muslims, we're always having babies. So these akikas and then the walimas and then different things. My family, outside of the different sacrificial periods, we buy lambs. We buy about 3 a year, probably about 3, 4 a year, just on normal, just regular for eating, So it's something they prefer. Not only that, our community needs to secure their food, and I don't know, Sharif, what do you think about that? In terms of what's happening right now, we need to secure a very important thing. We got the land, but we need to secure food.
Okay, well, let me go back to when you're talking about getting animals, especially for the Eid. So right now we're in January. It's about to be February. So the animals that didn't breed back. So that means, okay, so the farmer went out there, he put the bull on the cow or the ram on the sheep, and that female didn't get pregnant. So that's going to be a loss for him. So what he'll do around this time of the year, between now and March, is he'll sell those animals off cheaply. He has to get rid of them, especially cows, because the gestation period of a cow is just like a human. So that's 9 months. So that means he's been feeding it all winter, and he has nothing from it.
Nothing to
So
get. That's right.
you can get those animals at a cheaper cost. At the same time, it's calving and lambing season, which means the babies are going to be, produced. You're going to have some farmers who are going to say, I don't like the way this animal looks. There's a thing, they score the animal. So by how the back is, for cows, if there's like a slight bow in the cow's back, it's not good. They don't want to pass those genetics on. So they want a straight back cow and things like this. So they get rid of those animals. I mean, to the point I got a cow for $300 and it was ready to butcher. I mean, it was huge.
Yeah.
Just for the sole fact that it didn't meet the standard
right
of, I mean, there was nothing Islamically prohibited from being slaughtered. It was just that person's standards for their animals. So that's something you want to consider. If you can contact any local farmers to see if they have any animals that didn't breed back or animals that are older. So, for example, sheep, after 7 or 9 years, they're going to get rid of them.
The production goes down. Huh?
Well, it becomes dangerous. You know, they're going to actually have stillbirths and things like this.
Right.
So you have mutton now. Some people will say, I don't like the taste because it's too strong. Me personally, I like it. It doesn't seem strong to me. The dairy industry. So if there's a dairy farm near, all males are basically trash for them. They get rid of them quickly because they're into producing milk.
They don't want
so the males are not needed.
Right.
So we got a bunch of avenues to consider for meat production. And now with securing, our meat for the future, you want to look at the time of the year when you buy the animal. You don't want to buy things in the middle of, at the end of fall, because that means you just have to feed it all winter long. And you're not, benefiting from it. If you can, you want to buy early spring, right when the spring summer grasses come in. So then it can be on fresh pasture. And then you're not, spending a lot on it. And then slaughter by late fall, early winter.
Right.
And then there's different breeds of animal that are better producers. So for example, I'm switching my operation over to Dorper sheep. Dorper sheep are the fastest growing meat breed there is. In 100 days, that lamb can weigh anywhere between 90 and like 100 pounds. And those are the ones, in case you don't know, it's a Dorper. They have the black heads and the white bodies. And it's a cross between two. So it's a Dorset and a Persian sheep that were crossed together. It's a hair sheep, so there's no wool.
Okay, good.
For example, with regards to cows, Jersey cows have a high butterfat content, so the milk is sweeter. The cows are smaller. It's easier for young children to handle them. My son was handling our cow. I mean, let me see, he would have been about 4 or 5 years old. And the cow was like about 900 pounds. So, and they're really, docile. They're really relaxed. So they're easier to work with compared to like Holsteins, the black and white cows.
Right.
Which are basically double the size.
Right.
And their milk is watery. That's the milk that you get in the store most of the time.
Okay.
So I'm gonna shut it up for a little while because let somebody else say something.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone had any questions on what Sharif says about the project, or any ideas? Please step up.
Sure. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Brother Yassin, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
I'm really interested in some of the details. Are you explicitly stating what you need in terms of meeting your short-term goals? You said currently you don't have any animals on the farm.
Right.
Interested in you projecting a timeline, projected timeline as to when you would like to have animals there, what it would take to get animals there. What options are open to people aiding you in that effort?
Right.
Um, so those are the questions I have right now.
Yeah, and all good questions because they go to the meat of the matter, and that is, say, just give you an example. For instance, and I wish I had taken a couple of pictures of this and gotten it out. Mm, Give me a second here, but what I went to this farm and I mentioned Jim, this Irish guy. I went to his farm, and so I'm there on his farm and I look at a couple of sheep. We're talking about some of, like I said, he has a couple hundred, almost 200 head of livestock out there. And so I think I do have this one here. I might be able to share this a little bit here. I want to show you just one of his pens while I'm talking here. And also there were a couple of sheep in there. They were twins and they were the age of 7 months, young lambs, I mean, well, they weren't weaned. I mean, they were weaned. Well, by the way, Sharif, what age does the calf or the lamb wean from its mother fully?
Okay, so for calves, it's going to be 6 months, and for sheep, it's going to be earlier than that. It depends on the system you have in place.
Mhm.
Okay, so it depends on the system that you have in place. If you leave them together 100% of the time, the cow will not wean at 6 months. I actually had
Mm.
a bull that would knock his mother down to still nurse, and he was like a year and a couple months. I mean, and he was huge. So
Right.
you have to separate them. And
Yes.
after they're
Okay.
separated for a while, then they'll be okay. But normally most people wean their calves at by 6 months.
Okay.
Um, for a couple of reasons too. You want to develop their gut health. They need to eat grass. And if they're just on milk all the time, the gut bacteria doesn't develop properly. And sheep, about 3, 4 months.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Good. Look, so basically, can you guys see my screen here? There's a video playing there.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So this is one of the pins. He has some out on the. Now, what I wanted you to do is, if you look back at these, can you see my mouse? Those two sheep right there. So he
Yes, sir.
told me, he said those are 7 months old. Because at this point, we're talking price, we're talking, stuff like that. So I said, okay, 7 months old. How much for those? And he said about 240. I can give you those 240 a piece, right? So I said, okay. Now what we do know is that in this area, during the Eid, the uh they're selling for between $500 and $600. That's what, even up north in Maryland, they were paying the same thing in Maryland, man. It was $500 and $600, and they were small too. They were really, this is large compared to what, man, what some people I saw got for 450, and because they got a bargain, right? Yeah, right. My wife called them chickens, but anyway, um, so what I'm trying to do, so what my thing is, the farm and the investor, for instance, can split it. For instance, if I want 10 of these, if he had 10 to give up, right? And I went there and I said, okay, give me 10 of those, right? Uh, that's going to cost $2,400, right? $2,400. Now we could figure in, hey, Sherry, what do you feed yours?
So
And
I'm
the cost.
100%
Yeah, do a
grass.
thing on the cost and what you do feed them.
Okay, so you're actually in a better situation than I am because I'm in a high plains grassland. We have low precipitation.
Okay.
You're in a more, you know, wet environment, so you're going to have a lot more grass than I do. Um, Normally, one cow can be sustained on 1 acre of grass. Okay, This is called an agricultural unit, which means 1,000 pounds of animal. So 6, 7 goats or sheep equal 1 cow. Okay. And I like to keep my animals on grass because that's what they naturally eat.
Right. Exactly.
When you switch them over to something else, it messes them up. However, it's a good idea to give them some grain. So for example, you have a bad year, you don't have enough grass. If your animals are only used to eating grass, they'll get sick if you switch them over to grain. So having a small percentage of grain, and they'll love it. It's like a treat for them.
Right.
So it's hard to calculate cost, and cost is by area. So I would really need to know, like, how much do farmers in your particular area sell a bale of hay for? I get big bales. So the bales that I get are like 1,200 pounds.
Okay. Oh yeah. How much do those cost you down there?
Now it's going to depend on what type of grass you have.
Grass. Right. Right.
So they have what's called cow hay. Cow hay is inferior quality, but it's okay for cows. It could have some mold spores in the hay, but this won't affect the cow. However, this will affect sheep and horses.
Oh, okay.
So if you're going to have all of your animals together eating the same hay, then you're going to need to get a better quality hay. So you're going to need to make sure you have some like oats and alfalfa mixed together.
Alfalfa. Right. Right.
Oats and alfalfa mixed together. The more alfalfa, the higher milk production in cows.
Right.
But the more alfalfa makes the sheep and goats bloat. So you have to balance it out. So that's why if you get a mix of it, it should be okay.
Okay. All right.
And a bale that's 1,200 pounds of mixed alfalfa and oats, I just paid $180 per bale.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Got you. Got you. I'm gonna have to check on the price of the big bales. I had seen, because I went to farm Tractor Supply and I saw the small, bales. I don't know how much they weigh, but I saw the smaller bales. They were selling for like different ones for like between $7 and $9. That's what they were going for.
Okay, so those bales, then they have 2-string bales. You'll see 2 strings on them, then they have 3-string bales.
Okay.
And this is one way you can tell quickly, like on the weights. So a 2-string bale is going to be lighter, and that's going to usually be anywhere between like 45 to say 65 pounds. A 3-string bale is going to be about 70. It could be up to like 90 pounds.
Okay. All right.
So what you need to do then is to actually start doing math.
Yes.
Because you might think, oh, I'm going to get these smaller bales and it's cheaper.
Right.
But no, actually the bigger bale might be, or they might end up being the same price.
Right. Right. Right.
And then you have to decide also how much time you want to spend feeding your animals.
Yes.
I use big bales because I can take it, I can drop it in the field, and I don't have to worry about them every single day coming out with a certain amount.
Right.
Every single day.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So back to your question, Abdul Hakim, Jazakallah khair. And thanks, Sharif, for putting that in there, because that's critical information that we're going to have to do some research on. Just like I'll be going to the auction. There's an auction here in a town called Aden. It's about 45 minutes or so away from me. I'm going to go up to that auction, and I'm going to take copious notes on how they sell. Because I've never been to a livestock auction. I've been to where they're held, but I never went to an actual auction, right? So I don't know how they do that, whether they bunch them in groups by age or by what. I don't know. And so I'm going to find out and what they're selling for. So I'm going to actually see sales completed, and I'll be able to jot that data down as well and kind of do a comparison of the market, buying from Jim at the price that he's charging, or should I just go to the auction? And as our brother Hamza was talking about, we had already talked about this. He's got those moving vans. We can throw some tarp down up on the floor and up on the sides, and maybe I guess something in there for them to be comfortable on, like hay or whatever, and put them in there and go get them, and go to the auction and pick them up, Well, we'll see. We're going to try to find out. So I'm trying to find the most practical and economical way to come to the end to what we're trying to achieve, and that is to get animals on the farm and share that benefit 50-50 with the investor. Although we are the caretaker, and I call that the caretaker method, right? We're buying it with our investors' money. So that 10, 15, whatever, 5 sheep are his, and we caretake them, meaning we are going to, and you tell me whether this makes sense or not, Cherie, because you've been in this stuff. I don't. I'm the city guy who's been in business, and I'm thinking like in the ways that I do, right? So we calculate the cost of feed and all that, how much we put into each animal. Like you were saying, you don't want to buy during a certain time because you got to feed the darn thing all winter. And the more you feed it, the more you got into it, the less you're going to get. And you might even lose money on the animal and be forced to piece it out and cut it up and sell it in pieces. If excuse me, and sell it in pieces. But anyway, and I don't know. But that's what we're trying to do. So if we end up buying it for, let's say, 240, let's say 240, let's take Jim's price, and we sell it at 500. That's kind of what they're selling, between 5 and 6, right? Let's say